edition of Strictly Sports College Football Thursday. Hello, friends. Anthony Florio here. I am joined by Michael Bullock, awaiting the presence of good old MF Michael Fletcher. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then hopefully we'll see him tomorrow night for NFL Friday. But for right now, a lot to get into, so we're not going to waste any time. A lot of games to get into, so we started off with a game that will take place tomorrow night with a 9:15 kickoff over on ESPN. We have the number 20 Washington State Cougars squaring off against the Houston Cougars. Battle of Cougars here. And it will be at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, formerly Reliant Stadium. And this one will be over on ESPN. And it'll be Dave Fleming, Louis Riddick, and Paul Carcaterra on the call for that one. Washington State opening up as a 9.5-point favorite. Gardner Minshew. Washington State's new quarterback, Anthony Gordon, has thrown for an astounding 884 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Minshew, at this time last year, was sitting at 733 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Granted, Gordon's games were against New Mexico State and Northern Colorado, but Houston's defense isn't anything special either. Houston quarterback D'Eriq King is a potential game changer. However, he hasn't been anywhere near as dynamic as he was before the knee injury that ended his 2018 campaign. And Washington State's defense has been solid over the past 2+ seasons. Friday night games were kryptonite for the West Coast Cougars last year, but they'll go on the road and take care of the Texas-based Cougars here. So I got Washington State winning this one. High-scoring game, 45-35, Washington State over Houston. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in, and let's kick off the re-edition of Thursday.
Yes, let's indeed do it. Washington State, like you said, both teams, I think they're really good offensively, but I just think Washington State, I find their offense just a smidget better. So, I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. But I think in the end, I do agree with you. I got the Washington State Cougars winning this one in the Battle of the Cougars. I'm actually going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go 45-38. Washington State will beat Houston. So, I really got nothing more to say. Let's move on to the Saturday slate of games.
And we started off at high noon over on ESPN2. It'll be the number 3 Maiden Georgia Bulldogs. They are at home. Oh, hold on. We got MF. All right. Good old MF Michael Fletcher has just joined us. Good news, MF. You only missed one. We just got started. We want to bring MF in here because we want to get his thoughts on the game Bullock and I just talked about, which was the game tomorrow night. Number 20, Washington State, squaring off against Houston. Washington State is a 9.5-point favorite. So, MF, one of the few interesting games of Week 3. This is not a really exciting slate, to be honest. It's like it was a couple weeks ago. But Week 3, Washington State, Houston, tomorrow night. Quickly, who you got?
I'm going to go with Washington State. I think they're more of a superior team, even though Houston did give a little bit some fits to Oklahoma. Ultimately, they just didn't hang with them at the end. And I just think Washington State is just a better team overall. I just think that their body of work is a little more better. So I'm going to go with Washington State to win the game. And Anthony, I give it to you.
Keep your mic on, MF, because you'll be starting off this next one. We got the number 3 Maiden Georgia Bulldogs. They're at home at Sanford Stadium in those infamous hedges. They're going to be hosting the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. ESPN2 will have this game, and on the call for that one will be Roy Philpott, Kelly Stufer, and Lauren Sisler. Georgia opening up as a 32.5-point favorite. Gee, I wonder if we having this one.
Yeah, no, I gotta go with Georgia. I just think that they're more a superior team. I just think they're a lot more better, a lot more stronger. They're just going to be a lot more troublesome than anything else. Even though Arkansas State, give them credit where credit's due. Up to this point, because they did get a victory earlier in the year. Actually, they crushed UNLV last week, crushed them 43-17. But the difference between UNLV and Georgia is a big difference. Oh, like a lot more than you can tell. So obviously, I'm gonna go very handily, very easily. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Georgia to win, and nothing more to say. So yeah, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Georgia as well. I mean, yeah, give Arkansas State credit. I mean, they did get a victory, like you said, uh, against UNLV and crushed them. But let's just say this, guys. Georgia's no UNLV. They're a powerhouse in the SEC. Yeah, they're gonna roll all over the over our Arkansas State. So I really got nothing more to say. I'm just gonna give it to you, Florio.
Arkansas State is one of the better group of 5 teams, but the Sun Wolves probably wouldn't win a road game against Georgia Tech, let alone Georgia. The Bulldogs have gained more than twice as many yards as they have allowed, and the gap between how well they run the ball, almost 7.5 yards a carry, and how well they defend the run, and 2.5 yards a carry, is ridiculous. Maybe Omar Bayless, who has 16 catches, 281 yards, and 5 TDs, will find the end zone again. But ASU won't come anywhere close to its 36.5-point scoring average. Georgia rolls 45-10. Nothing more to say. Let's move on to the next one. Now, all right, this may not be the most exciting, slate of action, but there are a few, interesting matchups, like that Washington State-Houston game tomorrow night. When it comes to the remaining 3 high noon games, they're somewhat intriguing, if I'm going to be honest with you. And we're going to start it off with this one. Great game here in the Big Ten. I'm looking forward to this one. High noon on Fox, we have the number 6 Ohio State Buckeyes squaring off against the Indiana Hoosiers. Memorial Stadium, Bloomington, Indiana. The A team, of course, will be on the call for this one. No big surprise here. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, the lovely Jenny Taft, and we have Ohio State opening up as an 18-point favorite. Michael Bullock, we started with you. Interesting Big Ten game here. I know Ohio State's a considerable favorite, but don't sleep on Indiana. They're not as bad as people think.
Yeah, I mean, I think Indiana's they're not that bad. I mean, yeah, I mean when you look at the the spread like you just mentioned, I mean, yeah, but I mean that's why I think Ohio State. I mean, they really need to really be careful here. I mean, all Ohio State's got to do is just do their job, and they should have no problem with Indiana. But if they take this Indiana team lightly, I don't know, guys. I mean, they could. There's a chance they could pull off the upset. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I do got Ohio State. Ohio State winning this one. I mean, I think they should have no problem. But yeah, they just need to do their job, and they should have no problem. But if they take this team lightly and don't do their job, they could be in trouble. But I got Ohio State winning. Florida, what's yours?
Both of these Big Ten teams pitched week 2 shutouts, but Ohio State's was far more impressive than Indiana's. Ohio State shut out Cincinnati. Indiana, they shut out Eastern Illinois. Buckeyes quarterback Justin Fields has exceeded lofty expectations, while Indiana's offensive leaders, Michael Penix Jr. and Stevie Scott III, haven't been particularly good. Ohio State has laid some serious eggs on the road in recent years. A 55-24 beatdown loss at Iowa in 2017, and that 49-20 beatdown loss at Purdue last year, the Tyler Trent game, as we all remember. But this one, I don't think should be a problem here. Maybe Indiana will give them some fits early, but I think Ohio State will ultimately, really pull away here. So Ohio State wins this one going away, 38-10. Nothing more to say. Let's get our resident Big Ten authority in here. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Nice Big Ten matchup here for you, MF. Ohio State and Indiana.
No doubt about it. Ohio State and Indiana, nice Big Ten matchup. And if you remember last year in Bloomington, Indiana really hung in tough with Ohio State. Ultimately, Ohio State won the game, but Indiana, give credit where credit was due. They hung tough for at least a good, I want to say, I think it was a half or 3/4 of the game. Before ultimately they just kind of fell apart, and that was basically the beginning of the end. Because there was a point where they hung in, like I said, they hung in about halfway through the game, and then it just exploded. Ohio State kind of was like, okay, you know what, enough fun in games, and they dropped the hammer 49-26. I could expect something like this again, and I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go with Ohio State to win the game as well. So nothing more to say. Anthony, let's move on.
Yes, and we move on to another intriguing matchup here. Wait till you hear the commentary assignment for this one. I got an interesting story about this one. High noon over on ABC. The number 13 Penn State Nittany Lions will be once again at home at Beaver Stadium, third straight week at Happy Valley. They'll be hosting the Pittsburgh Panthers. A lot of history between these two teams. Listen to this commentary crew. You're not going to believe this one. You ready for this? Chris Fowler with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe. When I read this earlier, I'm thinking this has got to be a typo. But no, this is not a typo. Sean McDonough.
Very interesting.
This is a 1 week thing. And usually it's Sean McDonough who works with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe, and I'll get to him later. But Chris Fowler and Sean McDonough are trading places, like a role reversal, so to speak, for this week only.
Wow, so this basically means Sean McDonough is going to be working with Kirk Herbstreit.
Yep, and I'm going to explain why when we get to that game, Bullock. There's a story with that one too. So with that being said, Chris Fowler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, they'll have the call of this Pittsburgh-Penn State game. Penn State opening up as a 17.5-point favorite. Now to the business at hand. Penn State has averaged 62 points in its first two games, but let's not get too excited about blowouts of Idaho and Buffalo. This Pittsburgh defense will give us a much better indication of whether the Nittany Lions offense is for real. But even if the Panthers hold Penn State to half its scoring average, their offense will have a hard time finding the end zone against this elite defense. So I got Penn State winning this one. Final score 34-12. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts? Or I should say MF. Pittsburgh, Penn State. Let's give it to MF.
Yeah, I'll go with Penn State. I'm not going to make much more of it. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you now.
Yeah, I got Penn State winning this one as well. They should. Yeah, I think they should have no problem with Pittsburgh here. So, yeah, I really got nothing more to say. Let's just move on to the next game for you.
And it's our final high noon game, and this is a pure sleeper matchup here. This is going to be on the CBS Sports Network. The number 21 Maryland Terrapins squaring off against the Temple Owls at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, over on the CBS Sports Network. And on the call for this one, it'll be Rich Waltz, Aaron Murray, and John Schriffen. And Maryland opening up as a touchdown favorite. MF, I mean, you remember on this show last week, we both picked Maryland to upset Syracuse. Oh my goodness, they didn't just upset them; they bull rushed them.
Yeah, they did. Whenever you kick a team in the rear end and you do it 63-20, you caught our attention. You opened all our eyes, and I gotta say, I know Maryland is not great in college football. They're more of a basketball school, but my goodness, when you go up against an ACC team like Syracuse and kick the living daylights out of them like that, man, Scott Van Pelt, I know you're a Maryland alum. Rock on to you, bro. Mad love to you. You had them as a winner, and boy, did they hit you hit hard on that one, man. There's really nothing more to say. That was a dominating performance. But here's the thing that you have to be afraid of now. When you win a game like that, is it possible for a letdown? Is it possible that you go up against a team like a Temple, who, oh, by the way, is coming off a bye, so they had 2 weeks to prepare for you guys, and they beat Bucknell 56-12. Like, it was an emphatic beatdown on their end going into this game. So, obviously, you got to be very careful. And even the odds makers are being very careful with this. This is why they put him as only a touchdown favorite. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go with Maryland. I think I'm going to keep them with the hot hand, especially after what they did to Syracuse. But I'm going to put them on upset alert as well. Be careful here. This is a trap game because next week for Maryland, after this, they got to go and play Penn State at home. Trap game. This is very careful. You're going on the road. Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. Be careful, guys. Do not overlook Temple, or you could get dumped on your head. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. I got Maryland winning, but I am putting them on upset alert.
Yeah, I mean, after the way Maryland won that game last week, I mean, goodness gracious, I mean, whew, that was an ultimate beatdown. But here's the thing, I mean, Maryland, they just got to stay focused, and you can't take this Temple team lightly. I mean, especially after they had 2 weeks to prepare for this matchup. Now, some people said they scored a lot of points, and who knows? I mean, here's the thing. I mean, they can't look ahead. They gotta focus on the task of beating Temple. If they're able to just do what they have to do, they'll have no problem. But if they take this team lightly and they look ahead to that big matchup against Penn State next week, ooh, this could be big time trouble for Maryland. So I'm gonna go with Maryland to win this game, but I would not be surprised that Temple pulls off the upset here. And I'll tell you what, guys, could you imagine? I mean, after Maryland puts up 62 points last week, and then could potentially, if they were to get upset here this week, I mean, how bad would this look for Maryland after what they did last week, only to get upset? This would make them look bad. But yeah, I got Maryland winning, but like I said, I would not be surprised if Temple does pull off the upset. Florio, it's yours.
It's hard to know what to make of Temple after just one game against Bucknell, but Maryland looks like the real deal. The Terrapins stomped Howard 79-0 in their opener before an even more impressive 63-20 victory over what was supposed to be a darn good Syracuse defense. It kind of felt like Ohio State's 62-39 win over Michigan last November, albeit with substantially lessened national implications. The one thing that's making it difficult to pick Maryland to win in a blowout is the memory of 0-2 Temple's 21-point victory over 2-0 Maryland last September in College Park. Both teams have different head coaches, and Maryland has a quarterback now, but still. Maryland should be on upset alert. This is a major trap game if there ever was one. But I agree with you guys. I'm going with Maryland. Close, high-scoring game. I got Maryland winning 38-31 over Temple. Nothing more to say. Let's move on. And I'm going to look forward to this because it's my team now, boys. My number 7, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, opening up the home schedule against the Lobos of New Mexico. 2:30 kickoff on NBC. The same crew is back as always. Mike Tirico, Doug Flutie, Catherine Tappan. They'll be there at Notre Dame Stadium. And Notre Dame opening up as a 35-point favorite. All right, Bullock. Shower me with some of that Notre Dame love.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Notre Dame as a 35-point favorite. I mean, yeah, that smells like an Irish victory for me. I mean, with Book with the way he did in the first game, yeah. I mean, who knows? This could be another big game for him. So, yeah, it's gonna be the Fighting Irish all day long. Yeah, this is not even gonna be close. So, I really got nothing more to say. Florio, let's hear what you really have to say about this one. Whew.
Well, I'll tell you. Before I get into my note here, I was actually a little bit scared a couple weeks ago, to the point where, as the late great Stuart Scott and MF like to say, I was at one point scared, because Louisville was actually giving Notre Dame fits. But then ultimately Notre Dame got going and they pulled away and they won 35-17. But I'm not worried about this one. New Mexico allowed Sam Houston State to throw for 443 yards and 2 touchdowns in its season opener. And Notre Dame's Ian Book is significantly better than any quarterback on that FCS roster. He and the Fighting Irish will have a field day against the Lobos program going nowhere fast. And don't be surprised if Notre Dame running back Tony Jones Jr. sneaks onto the fringe of the still way too early Heisman Trophy conversation, following what I believe will be a huge day for that young man, without a doubt. So, Notre Dame all the way, 54-17, all Irish, all the time. Nothing more to say. MF, unanimous, I'm sure.
Yeah, unanimous. I'm going to go with Notre Dame as well. They're just a more superior team. They're a lot more better team, stronger at the end of the day. And yeah, I just don't believe that the Lobos will make much of a threat, especially with Notre Dame. The only thing that could upend Notre Dame, and I truly mean this, the only way they get upended here is only if they look past and is thinking about Georgia in those hedges. That's the only way that this goes wrong. Other than that, Notre Dame wins. Florio, go.
All right, gentlemen. We get to bring back one of our personal favorites. We had to wait until now, but it's finally back, guys. The SEC on CBS, back for another season. And we started off with the number 2 Alabama Crimson Tide squaring off against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. You know who's working this one. They're back once again for another year. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl, and Alabama. Well, you remember last week they were 55.5-point favorites last week.
And failed to cover?
Yes, they failed to cover, right. They won by 52. So, but they're not a huge, well, they are a big favorite, but not as big as last week. They're only a 25-point favorite this week, so that's all. Just 25 against South Carolina. So, I believe this one goes to me. So, Rico Dowdle and Tavian Feaster have been a solid 1-2 punch at running back for South Carolina, but it's hard to imagine a scenario in which the Gamecocks, sans 4-year starting quarterback Jake Bentley, following his season-ending foot injury, even make this one interesting. They allowed nearly 500 yards in the loss to North Carolina, and let's just say Alabama has more offensive firepower than the Tar Heels do. The only question is whether wide receiver Jerry Jeudy scores multiple times before the backups take the field. You know Tua's going to go off. You know everything else is going to go off. So nothing more to say here. Bama all day. They're going to cover the spread and then some, I think. 49-14. Roll Tide roll. And MF, when it comes to Alabama, next victim.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. The last time these two teams faced off each other, they played in South Carolina. This was 2010. South Carolina knocked off Alabama 35-21. It was one of the big upsets. Alabama was still riding high. I think they were national champions. And they went into South Carolina and got dumped by 2 touchdowns. Obviously, I don't believe that's going to happen this time around. Alabama's just way too strong, way too powerful. But boy, would it be something if South Carolina did it again to them. Woo-wee! So, I agree. I got Bama winning as well. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. Oops, we lost Bullock.
Oh, all right. Hopefully we'll get him back in soon enough. But okay, we got him.
All right.
All right, Bullock.
Yeah, for some reason I must have hit something on my phone that caused me to leave, but I'm back. So yeah, I'm gonna make it unanimous. I got Alabama winning this one, but yeah, I mean Fletch does bring a good point. I mean about what happened last time when these two met. So Alabama's thinking about that, and they're determined to make sure that does not happen again. So Alabama wins. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And we move on to our next 3:30 kickoff, and this one will be over on ESPN. Another one of those intriguing matchups here. The number 17 UCF Knights. They're at home at Spectrum Stadium in Orlando, and they're going to be hosting the Stanford Cardinal. And this one will be over on ESPN, and we have Mark Jones, Dusty Dvoracek, and Olivia Decker on the sidelines for this one. And I believe UCF is the favorite. Yes, UCF opening up as a 9-point favorite. MF started off here. Stanford obviously losing their star quarterback KJ Costello, and we saw what happened. We saw what happened to them last week in the Coliseum. SC, oof, put a whooping on them, knocked them out of the top 25, and now Stanford's got to face a UCF team that has been, the darlings of college football the last couple of years. So MF, Stanford against UCF. Another one of these intriguing matchups here in week 3. Well, I don't know where MF is. Okay, there he is. All right, MF, Stanford and UCF.
Oh, boy. You know what? Here's the thing. If you would have told me about a week ago, I probably would have said Stanford maybe has a shot. But after the injuries to the quarterback and to one of their offensive linemen, getting dumped by USC in the Coliseum, and just off the mere fact of what UCF has been doing lately, sorry, UCF wins. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I got UCF winning. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you were to tell me after everything that went down, I would have said that maybe that Stanford would have a chance. Nope, that ain't gonna happen. I got UCF winning this one. Florio, it is yours.
This one lost a little luster when Stanford got smoked by USC, but it's still one of the week's most intriguing games and UCF's biggest chance to prove it belongs in the college football playoff conversation. Stanford quarterback KJ Costello is expected to play after he missed last week's game because of a week 1 hit to the head. But what percentage health is he at? And will Notre Dame transfer Brandon Wimbush or freshman Dylan Gabriel get the start for UCF 1 week after the latter led the Knights to a blowout win over Florida Atlantic? The mutual uncertainties in the passing game are an obvious wild card, but superior defense, a better running game, and home field advantage all point toward yet another regular season win for UCF. As long as the Knights quarterbacks don't test their luck against defensive back Paulson Adebo too many times, they should get the job done. So I'm going with UCF, but it's going to be closer than people think. 27-23 UCF over Stanford. Final 3:30 kickoff, and yet here's another intriguing matchup. The number 24 USC Trojans on the road against the BYU Cougars at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. This one over on ABC. We got Dave Patch, Greg McElroy, and Tom Luginbill on the call. And in this one, it is USC. USC opening up as a 4-point favorite. So Bullock, USC back in the top 25 after that easy win over Stanford. But now they go into BYU. Interesting game here. So Bullock, let's start it with you. USC and BYU.
Yeah, this is an interesting game here. I mean, USC, definitely, with a nice win over Stanford last week, but yeah, this is going to be a test for them going into Lavelle Edwards Stadium to face a team like the Cougars. Here's another game that I feel like that could be have the recipe of an upset here. So yeah, USC, they better not take BYU lightly, because if they do, USC could be in big time trouble. So I'm gonna go with USC to win this game, but I would not be shocked if BYU does pull off the upset here. So I got the Trojans winning it. Florio, it is yours.
Lynn Swan's out of nowhere resignation as USC's athletic director throws an interesting wrinkle into the pregame talking points and postgame takeaways. But the Trojans look like the better team if we disregard that factor. That's because freshman quarterback Kedon Slovis was masterful in last week's 45-20 win over Stanford, giving USC an offensive flair that was absent when JT Daniels ran the show. Slovis has also looked much better than BYU's quarterback Zach Wilson, who waited until overtime of last week to get his first touchdown of the season. Unless running back Tyson Williams has a career day, USC will be too much for BYU's mediocre offense. Closer than people think once again, but I got USC winning this one 28-21 over what I think will be a very game BYU team. So nothing more to say. MF, another intriguing sleeper matchup here with USC and BYU in BYU.
I agree, and I think it will be an interesting game, to say the very least. But I'm going to go with USC. But I do think it will be closer than the experts. I'm going to say 38-28, USC wins. Bullock, go. Anthony, back to you. Sorry.
Yes, Bullock led off. And moving on to the 4:00 games. This one will be over on Fox. And now I'm going to be honest with you. This is a standout game for me. I like this matchup. The number 18 Michigan State Spartans at home at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. Third consecutive home week for them. They're going to be welcoming the Sun Devils of Arizona State out of the Pac-12. This one will be over on Fox. And on the call for this one will be Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, and Coley Harvey. And Michigan State opening up as a 14.5-point favorite. So the Sun Devils stunned the Spartans in week 2 last year, but there won't be a repeat in East Lansing. Michigan State's elite front seven is holding opponents to negative 3 rushing yards a game, and the Sun Devils have a true freshman at quarterback in Jaden Daniels, who will be on the road for the first time. That's a lethal combination for an offense that already wasn't prolific during wins over Kent State and Sacramento State. Elijah Collins should build on last week's breakout, 17 carries, 192 yards, by pacing the Spartans to victory. I got Michigan State winning this one 31-13 over Arizona State. So MF, our boy Herm Edwards, he in Arizona State, I think it's going to be a long day for them in East Lansing come Saturday afternoon. MF?
Fletcher there.
I don't see anything indicating that he went away or anything. So
I didn't there, so I'll just take it for a spin.
Yeah, take it for a spin, Bullock. Arizona State and Michigan State.
Yeah, Arizona State, Michigan State. Yeah, it's going to be a long day for for Arizona State. I mean, Herm Edwards definitely has got a big challenge ahead of him against a really good Michigan State football team. So, yeah, Herm Edwards better get his team pumped up, and because they're going to need everything if they have even a chance. But yeah, it's going to be a long day for them. Michigan State wins it, and guys, you know what I think Herman Edwards is going to be saying right after the game?
Hello, you play
Hello,
to win the game.
Play to win the game. You don't just play to play it; you play to win it.
Hello.
So yeah, as soon as you mentioned it, I had to mention that. So I don't know if Fletch is back yet. Doesn't look like he is. So we'll probably just catch him up on it.
There he is.
He's back. So Fletch, it's Michigan State and Arizona State.
Michigan State. If that's the reason why, nah. Michigan State. I really got nothing too much to worry about. I think they're gonna win this game pretty handily. Nothing more to say. Yeah, I'm gonna go Michigan State. So
because they play to win the game.
No, not only that, superior team, Big Ten conference, dangerous team. They've been looking pretty good lately. I got nothing bad to say about Michigan State up to this point. Up to this point, Michigan State just bring they know what they just bring it every time, every game that they do. Plus they're at home, and I mean, okay, the first two games, Tulsa 28-7, 51-17. Yeah, come on. They don't really got a major threat, not for a little while. So Michigan State should win this going away. Anthony, back to you.
All right. And we move on to the other 4 o'clock kickoff here. I'm going to call this next one a good old MF Michael Fletcher special. And it's only fitting he's going to be starting off on this one. It's the Battle of Iowa. The number 19 Iowa Hawkeyes squaring off against the Iowa State Cyclones. Jack Trice Stadium at Iowa State. This one over on FS1. We got Brian Custer, Robert Smith, and Sarah Kustok on the call. And Iowa opening up as only a 1.5-point favorite. So MF, I mean, I consider this an MF special because I know how much you love Iowa. Iowa State's a great team. Battle of Iowa. I've read some preview articles I've read. There are some people that are actually calling this the game of the week, believe it or not.
Yeah, because of the rivalry. Iowa State coming off a major win over Northern Iowa. Actually went into 3 overtimes, boys. We actually had some bonus football last week. The last time that they played each other, which was in week 1. But here it is. Another team, 2 weeks to prepare for the game against Iowa. This is a big game for Iowa. They did shut out Rutgers. which was pretty handily. They beat Miami of Ohio pretty handily, but now they go up against Iowa State in Ames. This is danger game. This is a trap game. You got to watch yourself. One mistake could do them in. At the end of the day, I think this is going to be a great battle. I'm going to go with Iowa. Very, very, very close. 28-24. I got Iowa winning, but I would not be surprised if Iowa State does win it. The last time they played was a year ago, which was in Iowa, and it was somewhat of a defensive battle as Iowa walked away 13-3 winners. Nothing more to say. Anthony, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is a game that I think we're gonna have a vested interest in. I mean, yeah, I mean Iowa. I mean, they really got to be careful here. I mean, there's a reason why Iowa State. I mean, Iowa's only a 2-point favorite. I mean, yeah, I mean, if Iowa doesn't, if they're not careful here, and if they take this team lightly, I think we may get an upset over here. So I'm gonna go with Iowa to win this game, but I would not be surprised if Iowa State, in front of the home crowd, pulls off the upset. Florio, it's yours.
Boys, I'm feeling froggy. I'm jumping. I'm going for the upset.
Oh, you're going for it.
Hell yeah, I'm going for it. I got a good feeling about this one. Okay, now I know Iowa has won the last 4 games in this rivalry. I understand that. And common sense suggests the Hawkeyes will shut down the Cyclones, considering the former is holding opponents to 7 points a game, while the latter had just 10 points after 59 minutes against Northern Iowa. But then again, no one was expecting a 44-41 barn burner 2 years ago, when both teams were rock solid on defense and just okay on offense. That said, I'm going with Iowa State at home in what could be a snail race to 20 points. So I'm going with Iowa State to win 21-18. That's my final. I'm pulling an MF. I'm going for the upset here. Nothing more to say on that. So let's move on to a rare 4:15 kickoff over on the Pac-12 network. And this is the last of our day games before we get into the prime timers. The number 11 Utah Utes at home once again at Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. They're going to be hosting the Bengals of Idaho State. And on the call for this one, that will be J.B. Long, Jeremy Bloom, and Krista Blunk. They will have the call of that one. And the spread here, no line is given. There's no line given for this one. But then again, I would imagine Idaho State, I would imagine Utah has got to be a substantial favorite. So, Michael Bullock, come on in. Utah is at home once again against Idaho State. Should be an easy one.
I actually have the spread here, Florio.
You do?
Yeah. Utah is actually, no surprise, a 36.5-point favorite.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. I think this spells the Utah Utes. They're going to roll all over Idaho State. I really got nothing more to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
In the past decade, Idaho State has played 10 games against Power 5 schools. In those opportunities, the Bengals are 0-10 with an average margin of defeat of 46.7 points. And not one of those opponents was ranked this highly by the AP. Utah's offense isn't anywhere near as special as its defense, but get ready for a stomping all the same. 56-3, Utah all over Idaho State. MF, make it unanimous.
Yeah, it is going to be Utah, no doubt about it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. So, yeah, next game.
And it's now time for the primetime games, guys. 7 o'clock over on ESPN2. The number 8 Auburn Tigers at home at Jordan-Hare Stadium. They're going to be hosting the Golden Flashes of Kent State. And on the call for this one, That would be Anish Shroff with Ahmad Brooks and Chris Budden. And on this one, Auburn opening up as a 35.5-point favorite. Auburn struggled to move the ball against Tulane, but we had the Green Waves defensive line projected as the 10th best in the preseason. Things should come a lot easier against the Kent State defense that has been a doormat for ranked Power 5 opponents lately. The Golden Flashes have been outscored 320-29 in their last 6 tries dating back to 2013. Time to let Tigers quarterback Bo Nix build confidence. Huge night. He goes off. Auburn goes off. Easy win. 63-7 over Dolph Ziggler's alma mater. Nothing more to say. MF, all Auburn, all the time. Lindsey McCormick's going to be grinning from ear to ear.
Oh, yeah. Nothing more to say. I'm not even going to make much of an argument here. So, yeah, Auburn wins pretty handily. Nothing more to say. Bullet, go.
Oh yeah, Auburn is gonna handle this one easily. So I really got nothing more to say on this. Let's just move on, Florio.
And we move on to our next 7:00 game. This one over on ESPN. Great matchup here in the SEC. The number 9 Florida Gators squaring off against the Kentucky Wildcats at Kroger Field in Kentucky. ESPN has this one. Steve Levy, Brian Griese, Todd McShay, Molly McGrath. They'll be there. Florida opening up as an 8-point favorite. Now, MF, I know Florida's the more dominant team when it comes to the college football, but hey, don't sleep on Kentucky, especially the star running back Benny Snell.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right, Anthony. Do not sleep on Kentucky. And on top of that, in the last few years, Kentucky's really been a legit threat. Definitely. I mean, when it comes to these type of matchups, they pull upsets. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to sleep on them at all. I think Florida will win the game, but it's going to be pretty close. It's going to be closer than what the experts have it. I got Florida winning 35-27. But let me tell you, Kentucky is a scrappy team. They will not go down without a fight. So, yeah, this is going to be pretty close. 35-27, Florida wins, but Kentucky is going to give Florida fits throughout the afternoon and evening. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Oh yeah, with the way these games have gone between these two teams, it could be a close one, closer than what all the experts are saying here. And yeah, I think Kentucky's definitely going to give Florida some fits here. They're going to keep it close, but in the end, I do have Florida winning. But who knows? Kentucky could pull off the upset. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that. So Florio, it's yours.
Last season, Kentucky shocked the college football world by snapping its 31-year losing streak against the Gators. Can the Wildcats make it 2 wins in a row in this SEC East battle? Probably not, considering quarterback Terry Wilson suffered a season-ending knee injury this past weekend. At least they have some depth in the form of Troy transfer Sawyer Smith. But we wish him the best of luck against the defense that is leading the nation in sacks. Florida will physically dominate a low-scoring affair. Kentucky will hang with them early, but Florida will ultimately pull away. I got Florida winning this one a little more comfortably than you guys think. 28-13, Florida over Kentucky. Let's move on. 7:00 kickoff, ESPN University. The number 16 Texas A&M Aggies. They're opening up their home schedule at Kyle Field in College Station. They're going to be hosting the Cardinals of Lamar. And on the call for this one will be Clay Matvick and Ryan Leaf. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. I don't believe I have a spread for this one unless I have it on this list here.
I got it, Florio.
Yes.
Let's just say Texas A&M is a 43.5-point favorite.
Unreal. So I believe it's MF who starts off on this one. So MF, Texas A&M. We thought it was going to be an exciting game against Clemson, but oh my goodness, did they get manhandled by Clemson?
Yeesh. That's the only word I can say is just yeesh.
Putrid.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when you're dealing, here's the thing. When you talk about the number one team in the nation, you have to understand Clemson's just bad. They're bad boys. They're not to be messed with. But give credit where credit's due to Texas A&M. They try to hang. They just didn't. What happened was the second quarter. They gave up 17 points in that second quarter, and they never really recovered after that. So at the end of the day, that's how the cookie crumbles. Now you gotta go, try to rebound, you got that little bitter taste in the mouth. You take it out on the next person that you need to get. Paul Lamar, even though they won their first 2 games of the season, but one was 65-16, all right, but you beat a team named Bethel in Tennessee. Then last week, you barely got over Mississippi Valley State, 23-20 in overtime. Now you're going up against Texas A&M, who kind of got humiliated, probably angry, feels like they got stunned, and you're going in the house of the 12th man. Yeah. Let me say this in layman's terms, and Floyo, you're gonna appreciate this, being the holy guy of the group. And I'm gonna go Roman Catholic here. Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo. To the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, because that's all you're gonna need. A prayer to think if you're gonna survive against Texas A&M. Nope, not a chance. Texas A&M wins pretty handily, dominating performance. They're gonna show the country what they should have done last week against Clemson. Unfortunately, Clemson's just, like I said, just a good team. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh yeah, after what happened last week against Clemson, Texas A&M is definitely one pissed off team. And yeah, good luck, Lamar. You're gonna need a lot of it. Yeah. Yeah, there's another thing. Yeah, they're going to win big time. You know what I'm going to say my final score is? I'm going to go 62-7. It's not even going to be close. And here's another good old term. I know we're going in the whole wrestling route. And Florio, you know where I'm going to go with this one. As in the old days of Ryback, you know what Texas A&M is going to be saying. Feed me more. Feed more.
Oh.
Feed
more.
Done.
Finished.
it. Texas A&M squashes Lamar. Move on, Florio.
All right, fellas. Here are some numbers to back it up. Lamar has lost 6 consecutive games against FBS opponents, each by at least a 35-point margin. That includes a 73-3 loss to Texas A&M in 2014 and a 77-0 loss to Texas Tech last year. And last week's overtime game against Mississippi Valley State doesn't exactly tell the tale of a program on the rise. If the Aggies don't win this by at least 50 points, it will only be because they spent most of the evening in quote-unquote, let's just run out the clock and stay healthy for next week's battle with Auburn mode. 56-3, Texas A&M all over Lamar. Nothing more to say. Now let's move on to going into this week would have been the game of the week. You can make an argument that it might still be. I don't know. But this one, it's the ABC Saturday night game of the week. 7:30 on ABC. The number one team in the land, your reigning, defending, undisputed college football playoff national champion Clemson Tigers, squaring off against the Syracuse Orange in the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. And on the call for this one, as I mentioned earlier, the 1 week switcheroo, Sean McDonough, with Kirk Herbstreit and Maria Taylor, and Clemson opening up as a 28-point favorite. Now then, gentlemen, you're probably wondering, why is Sean McDonough calling this game? Why are they doing this switcheroo? Well, here's the answer. Tomorrow night, Sean McDonough is receiving the Syracuse University's most prestigious award. It's known as the George Ahrens Award, which is given to those past alum who have excelled in their given profession. And Sean McDonough is receiving that prestigious award at some sort of ceremony tomorrow night. And the powers that be at ESPN decided, you know what? Why don't we just have you stay, and why don't we just have you call the game with Kirk Herbstreit and Maria Taylor for the next night? So that's the story. Sean McDonough receiving a prestigious award from Syracuse, and that's why it'll be him sitting with Kirk Herbstreit and Maria Taylor instead of Chris Fowler, and that's why Chris Fowler is working with Sean McDonough's team of Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe for that Pittsburgh-Penn State game at the start of the day. So there's the backstory. So nothing more to say on this. I believe it's Michael Bullock who starts off on this one. Bullock, this was originally going to be the game of the week, but after how Syracuse, after that egg that Syracuse laid against Maryland, yeah, so much for this game being the game of the week.
Yeah, this could have been the game of the week, but because of, like you said, what happened with Syracuse, and because of the way Clemson's playing, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a good night for Syracuse. I got the Clemson Tigers winning this one. I'm going to say my final score is going to be 48-21. It's going to be my final score. Florio, it's yours.
First off, on behalf of all of us here at Strictly Sports, we congratulate Sean McDonough on his very special award that he will be receiving tomorrow night. One of the all-time greats. We love him. Now, unless Syracuse was playing the all-time most convincing game of possum by losing 63-20 to Maryland last week, this won't be the noteworthy showdown we were expecting, especially me, in the preseason. Even though Trevor Lawrence, who's thrown 3 interceptions, has not had anything close to Heisman-level efficiency. The Terrapins gutted the Orange in the running game, averaging 7.9 yards a carry and scoring 6 of their 9 touchdowns on the ground. Travis Etienne will bounce back from his Week 2 dud, 16 carries, 53 yards against A&M, with something closer to the Herculean performance he had against Syracuse last year, 27 carries, 203 yards, 3 touchdowns. A Syracuse offense that has yet to score more than 24 points won't be able to keep pace. Clemson wins a little easier than I thought, 42-17, all Clemson in that beautiful, cozy Carrier Dome. Nothing more to say. MF, Clemson, I'm afraid, is going to spoil the party for Sean McDonough and Syracuse.
Yeah, I got Clemson winning the game as well, but the thing is that I've seen some stranger things happen when there's ever a game in the Carrier Dome. You never, ever, ever know. There's been upsets galore. And if I remember correctly, didn't Clemson actually lose one year to Syracuse in the Dome? Wasn't there an upset a few years ago?
I believe there was, yes.
Yes, I think it was I think it was 3 years ago where Clemson was a perennial favorite. Actually, I believe they were national champions going into the Carrier Dome. And the next thing we know, the emphatic stampede! The stampede broke out at the Carrier Dome because Syracuse knocked them out, knocked them off in the house. So be careful. It can happen. And Syracuse, I mean, they're stinging. They're fuming after what happened at Maryland. I honestly think they were looking past Maryland, thinking easy game, because they were setting up for this one. this battle, this war with the defending national champions. And on top of that, I'm going to be openly honest, and I'm going to be brutally honest. Clemson hasn't looked as great as the experts have thought. They haven't looked amazing as we all thought they were going to be. Up to this point, they've been right for the pickings for maybe an upset. Even though I got Clemson winning, I would not be shocked if Syracuse goes in and pulls the upset and knocks off Clemson here, and we might get the dreaded stampede. And Scott Van Pelt, you're with me, bro. We are the court marshals of stampedes. We embrace it. We love it. So, just like Florio and Bullock in that green bean sting with Woken Matt Hardy, we love stampedes. Yes. Nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I got Clemson winning, but I would put them on upset alert. I think an upset could happen. The stars are aligning for some odd reason.
I actually already let off, so it's
right.
back to Florio.
Florio, it's yours then. Sorry.
Well, and yes, it was the last time they met in the Carrier Dome just 2 years ago on a Friday night when Syracuse pulled that upset. That was a 27, I believe it was a 27-24 upset win against Clemson on a Friday 2 years ago in the Dome. So you never know, but we'll see. Moving on, 7:30 kickoff, SEC Network. The number 4 LSU Tigers, fresh off that huge win in Texas last week. They're going to be hosting the Demons of Northwestern State at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik will have it. And LSU is, well, there's no line given in this one, but you don't need us to tell you that LSU is going to win. The Tigers blew out Georgia Southern 2 weeks ago and just scored a colossal road win over Texas. An 0-2 FCS team won't stop this runaway freight train. But we'll tell you, LSU will make it a point to establish the ground game against Northwestern State. Quarterback Joe Burrow will do enough good deeds to remain an early Heisman contender, but the Tigers need to infuse their backfield with confidence following consecutive mediocre performances in that department. But I got LSU rolling over Northwestern State. Lock of the week right here. 67-6. LSU all over Northwestern State. And MF, I know you got to be bumming because I know how much you love Texas, and LSU wasn't having it, boy. LSU's like, what about us?
Yeah, and you know what? That's whenever you get those big games, when there's 2 top 10 teams, and you know there's playoff implications. There's not only that, but there's also bragging rights that comes with it. LSU was definitely the better team on that night. Texas had their opportunities. They could have won it, but they were unable to get the job done. Congratulations to them for winning the game. They deserve to win it. They played hard, and they played a great game. That was a tremendous performance, and now LSU has put in everybody on the radar, and they gotta handle their business. That's all they gotta do. Keep winning these games. I think they'll win pretty handily. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. Bullock?
Yeah, I mean, definitely with LSU. I mean, with their big win over Texas last week. I mean, they definitely they definitely made a statement and showing the world, hey, don't forget about us. So, yeah, LSU will win. They should have no problem here. So, Florio, I give it to you.
And we move on to the next game. 6 games left. 7:30 over on the Pac-12 network. The number 23 Washington Huskies at home at Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium, hosting the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. Like I said, Pac-12 network will have this one. Ted Robinson, Yogi Roth, Lewis Johnson will be on the call for that. And Washington Huskies opening up as a 21.5-point favorite. Nothing more to say here. MF should be Washington in this one.
Should be Washington, but remember, they got upsetted last week. California got them. Nipped them right at the end, 20-19. Big loss for them. And Hawaii, so far, 2 games in, 2 big wins. They beat Arizona 45-38, beat Oregon State 31-28. Now they try to get the trifecta and try to knock out Washington. But again, Husky Stadium in Washington. And the last time they played each other was in 2014. And Washington won the game by only 1 point, 17-16, believe it or not. So I think this is going to be a close game. This might be closer than what the experts have it. So yeah, they give Washington 21 points. Guys, I'm not gonna go that high. I don't think it is gonna be that kind of result. I can only see Washington winning this by maybe 10. 27-17 is my final score. I got nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and I do agree. I do agree. I think Washington will win, but I still think it's going to be. I think they'll pretty much cover the spread here, probably by 21. So, yeah. So, they are at home. I think Hawaii will definitely hang in there for a while. But the thing is, I think at the end, Washington is just too good. And when you're playing in front of that crowd there, yeah, it's definitely going to help them out. So Washington wins. Flory, what's yours?
Hawaii has put a hurting on the Pac-12, upsetting Arizona in quote-unquote week 0 before last week's come-from-behind win over Oregon State. But winning home games against bottom-tier teams doesn't mean the Warriors are about to waltz into Seattle and knock off the Huskies. Jacob Eason and company will rip through a defense allowing nearly 500 yards a game, while the Huskies' D will provide a much stiffer test than anything Hawaii quarterback Cole McDonald has faced. I'm sorry, this should be an easy win for Washington. 52-17. I got Washington. No trouble with Hawaii. So, final 7:30 kickoff. This one over on the ACC network. Intriguing game here once again. The number 25 Virginia Cavaliers at home at Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, hosting the Seminoles of Florida State. On the call for this one will be Dave O'Brien, Tim Hasselbeck, and Katie George. And Virginia opening up as a 7.5-point favorite. So, big time game in the ACC.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a big time game in the ACC. Virginia. Definitely. With their win last week, getting into the top 25 and going up against one of the most legendary schools in college football history in the Florida State Seminoles. So, yeah, and this is a big chance here for Florida State. If they can win here, this could definitely give them some confidence. At least to get a win over a top 25 team. This is definitely going to be close all the way. So, but I got Virginia winning this one because they are at home for this game. And I'll be quite honest, guys. If this game was played at Florida State, I would have gone and called for the upset. But I got Virginia winning this one, so nothing more to say. Flory, what's yours?
Yeah. Let me see here. This is low key the day's most important game. If Virginia wins, the ACC will keep 2 teams in the AP top 25. And Florida State head coach Willie Taggart catapults to the top of any and all hot seat rankings if he isn't already there. If the Seminoles win, then I suppose North Carolina becomes the new favorite to win the most bizarre Power 5 division. Virginia should be victorious, though. Florida State's defense is even more of a catastrophe than it was last year, and the Cavaliers have one of the ACC's best defenses. James Blackman and Cam Akers have better long-term prospects than Bryce Perkins and the rest of Virginia's offense, but Wahoo has the upper hand in this matchup. I got Virginia winning this one, 35-27. Nothing more to say. MF, major implications in this ACC showdown.
Oh yeah, definitely major implications in the ACC showdown, no doubt about it. When you got 2 teams right now that, like you said, it is topsy turvy. It's a little wacky right now what's going on, but at the end of the day, you just gotta kind of have to handle the situation, and really, you gotta step up. I mean, Virginia definitely is a good team, no doubt about it. And Florida State, I mean, no slouches. I mean, but the 2 games that they've already played, I mean, they lost to Boise State. Then they almost lost last week. Now they're going up against a top 25 team with Virginia. And Virginia, who's already beaten 2 easy teams. They beat Pittsburgh, beat William and Mary. They got Florida State. So, I mean, they just got to handle their business. It's at home. Play what you got to do the game you got to handle. At the end of the day, I would go and I would say yes. Nothing more to say. I'm going to say it. I will go and I'll call it. So, nothing more to say. I'm going to go with Virginia to win. And yes, Anthony, it's yours.
4 games left. Move on to the first of 2 8:00 kickoffs. This one on Fox. We have the number 5 Oklahoma Sooners squaring off against the UCLA Bruins in a venue that is near and dear to MF's heart. MF, you know what I'm talking about, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. I know how much you love it. And that's where we're going to have this one. And on the call for this one will be Joe Davis, Brock Heward, and Bruce Feldman. Oklahoma opening up as a 23-point favorite. So let me set the table for this one. Which is harder? Jalen Hurts' performance as Oklahoma's quarterback or Chip Kelly's seat as head coach of UCLA? The Bruins are winless and a disaster on offense, even though they played 2 games against Group of 5 opponents, and they will conclude non-conference play with an embarrassing shellacking at the hands of the Sooners. Oklahoma won this game 49-21 last year, but this might be even uglier. Oklahoma rolls 52-13. Nothing more to say, MF. It's going to be a long night for UCLA in your beloved Rose Bowl.
I got to go with Oklahoma. There's really nothing more to say. Oklahoma's the superior team. They're more better. So yeah, I got nothing more to say. Oklahoma wins. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got the Oklahoma Sooners winning this one as well. I mean, they should have no problem with UCLA. So nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
3 games left, and MF will start the next one here. Only fitting because this is one of his favorite teams. The now number 12 Texas Longhorns. They're going on the road. This will be on CBS Sports Network, 8:00 kickoff, and they're going to be squaring off against the Owls of Rice. And this game will also be at NRG/Reliant Stadium in Houston, Texas. And on the call for this one, it will be Carter Blackburn, Aaron Taylor, Jenny Dell. They'll be there. And it is Texas opening up as a 32-point favorite. MF, needless to say, Texas, they're mad, they're pissed, they're embarrassed. They let LSU get away from them Now they got to go to Houston against an 0-2 Rice team. I think this is a chance for them to show them why you're so high on them.
This is a circle the wagons moment. This is the infamous circle the wagons moment, like Chris Berman used to say. This is going to be that moment. They got to handle their business. Texas will. They'll win the game. There's really nothing more to say. Bullock, go. Bullock?
Bullock, are you there? We just had him.
Yeah, I know. Give him a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
I'm here.
Texas and Rice, Bullock.
Yeah. Texas is not a happy bunch after letting one get away against LSU last week. So, yeah, I feel bad for Rice. They're going to feel the wrath of Texas. I got them winning big in this one, so I got nothing more to say, Floria. Let's move on to.
Well, I gotta put my thoughts in.
I'm sorry.
No worries. I know. Texas secondary is a hot mess, allowing 405.5 passing yards and 3 touchdowns a game. Those numbers should get a nice dose of regression to the mean against Rice, though, as the Owls didn't get their first passing touchdown of the season until the final 2 minutes of their second game. Look for Sam Ehlinger and company to let out some post-LSU frustration in this one. 52-7, all Texas all the time. 2 games left. Pac-12 after dark. Well, actually, no, not really here. 10:15 kickoff over on ESPN2. The number 22 Boise State Broncos, once again at home on the Smurf turf at Albertson Stadium. They're going to be hosting the Vikings of Portland State. Mike Cousins and Kirk Morrison on the call. And there is no line given for this one. At least I think. No line given.
I actually have a spread for you. Yes. Boise State is a 31.5 point favorite.
31.5 point favorite. All right, Bullock,
that is correct.
All right, Bullock. I think we all know it should be Boise on the Smurf turf, right?
Oh yeah, it's Boise State on the Smurf turf all day. Well, I should basically say all night here. So
yes,
Boise State wins big. Floria, what's yours?
The final score wasn't pretty, but Boise State manhandled Marshall about as well as a team can manhandle a 14-7 game. The Broncos outgained the Thundering Herd 437-172, limiting them to negative 10 yards in the second half. Against a Portland State team that could barely move the ball against Arkansas, that defense will be more than enough. Boise State, easy win, 38-7. MF, it's going to be another long night for Portland State. Portland State on that Smurf turf.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm not going to waste too much more time. It looks like we want to get on out of here now. Everybody's got work in the morning. I'm going to say it. Smurf turf, Boise State, the Darlings are back. We love them. They're awesome. Sure. They win. One more game to go.
Yes, one more game to go when it's a 10:45 kickoff. This one will be over on the Pac-12 network. The number 15 Oregon Ducks. They're going to be at home against the Grizzlies of Montana. And on the call for this one will be Roxy Bernstein, Anthony Haran, and Jill Savage. And no line was given in this one. So there's really nothing more to get into here. So I think
Oregon's a 37-point favorite.
A what point favorite, Bullock?
37.
That's why they say no line given. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So yep. So I believe I start this one off. Justin Herbert threw for 310 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Oregon's 77-6 beatdown victory over Nevada last week, and has been drastically more efficient than he was a year ago. And while Montana is better than your average FCS team, the Grizzlies won't supply much more resistance than Nevada did against this high-powered offense. Oregon might hit the over 65 per OddsShark by itself, but not quite. I do have Oregon rolling 59-24. Nothing more to say. MF, Oregon, fresh off that loss to Auburn, easy win over Nevada. Now they got Montana. This one should get Eric Carrier's spirits back up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. They're gonna win this game. Oregon should win this going away. Nothing more to say. We'll just move on. Michael Bullock, finish it off.
Yeah, I got Oregon winning this one. I got them winning big over Montana. And Eric Carrier, I know, is definitely going to be really happy about this. So
Absolutely.
nothing more to say for you. Let's just move on to the power poll.
Yeah, the power poll. Let me just say it like this. We have a lot of things to do here. We just had a humongous slate. That was what, 22, 23 games we just went down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quite frankly, I'm going to be honest with you. I know how much Derek Forever loves power rankings, and I get all that. But when it comes to the college football power polls, those things are ridiculously tough. Am I right on that?
I agree with that. I've been thinking about. I think, and even the NFL power rankings. I think for us, I think the fans would prefer us just to do the games. I would probably say at this point, I would say the only time we do the power rankings is when we do strictly sports. But when it's NFL or anything, just for our sanity and for our viewers, I think we should do away with the power rankings altogether.
I agree.
I make it unanimous. I mean, the only time we should do power rankings is when it comes if we're just doing strictly sports.
Yes, when we do like Major League Baseball, NHL, NBA, what have you.
Yeah, that's the only time we should do it. When it comes to college football and the NFL, with so many games going down, especially in college football.
Oh yeah,
and the NFL. NFL. I mean, on a given week, we're going to be covering 15 games on a given week, at least.
Yeah.
When it's not a bye week, so yeah. All those in favor? Aye. Yeah. So I will run it past Derek. I'm sure Derek's probably not going to be too thrilled about that. It will make things a lot easier for us, especially with the crazy weeks we're going to have going forward, coming up in a bit. So yeah. No more power rankings, no more power poll when it comes to NFL or college football. Only game previews. That's it. So that's going to be.
I know Derek is not. I know Derek's not going to be too happy about it, but you know what? Who cares?
I think he'll understand. I think he'll understand because of the mere fact of all the games and everything else, and plus with all the work commitments, not just myself, but Florio, you got commitments. You got commitments, Bullock. I think he'll understand. I don't think he'll have that big of a gripe.
I agree.
Yeah, so, I agree too.
Yeah, and Oregon will be at home tomorrow night at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, just to clear that up. So, all right, gentlemen, that's it. That will put the bow on this Week 3 edition of College Football Thursday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow night for Week 2 of NFL Friday. We'll run down the games. Buccaneers and Panthers going down. And of course, the headline matchup, obviously, the NFC Championship rematch with the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Rams in the Coliseum. And then sometime on Saturday, we will preview the WWE Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Sunday night will be the recap with MF. And then, of course, Ridiculously Raw, Cerebral Smack Talk, and the premiere of Derek Ferrera's new show, Wednesday Night Mayhem, as we will review the first NXT. It'll be just NXT for the first 2 weeks, and then October the 2nd, that's when AEW comes in. So get ready, folks. The best is yet to come. So until tomorrow night for NFL Friday, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, D.D. Woodson, and the aforementioned Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday. And until tomorrow night for NFL Friday, you've been watching Strictly Sports, College Football Thursday, Week 3 edition, right here on StreamYard and YouTube.com. for everybody who's been a part of this one. For now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.